Hello, everybody. This is Tenacious Earl here with um, the second in what will probably end up being 5 or 6 videos that are. Oh, hold on, I'm going to move this vise a little bit. That will encompass this Hawaiian challenge from the 2018 Tenacious Golf Tour season. This is the the Tabletop Baseball Plus channel. If you haven't already figured it out, you can subscribe to us somewhere there on your YouTube page, or if you're using a device, you can oftentimes figure out a way to do that on your device. There'll be a place where you can hit subscribe. And what that does is, so this is being recorded on a live stream. I don't have anybody viewing this live yet. And if you watch the video from last night where I did the setup for the tournament and the first 2 rounds, that was also live streamed. It gives people the opportunity to ask some questions, kind of stream of consciousness kind of thing. There's no editing, no planning. No, I mean, there's planning. There's no editing. No. Sometimes I've been known on occasion, on the rare occasion that maybe I say something that I didn't really want to have there for posterity's sake. Sometimes I'll go back and edit something out, but largely everything is as done. So, what you end up seeing after the fact is what you get, usually, almost exclusively. But like I said, in the live stream here, it gives us a chance to talk. You'll hear me often answer questions. I try to repose the questions via saying them, because a lot of times you wouldn't be able to know after the fact. You almost certainly wouldn't be able to know. Maybe someday YouTube will institute that or implement that capability, that the questions or the the commentary comes up as the video is played, sort of in a replay, so to speak. But it's not the case. So what we're doing here, if you are completely new to this, this is tabletop golf. That's right, tabletop golf. A lot of you probably would say, well, I mean, a lot of you who are going to watch this video would have come here because maybe you like golf, or maybe you like tabletop sports. Either way, then for me to say that you might think, oh, tabletop golf might be a bit boring. But some of you are going to be already going to be predisposed that golf is actually entertaining to watch on television. Some of you are going to be predisposed to thinking that tabletop games are fun as opposed to computer games. And so I won't quite say that, but it is the type of thing that is an acquired taste. I think once you understand what is being captured through these games, a simulation, somewhat a randomization, but randomization with some distinct, in this case here, which is a game called History Maker Baseball. Each player has traits, also has a ranking that the results of the tournaments are somewhat loosely based on those rankings, but there's plenty of room for back markers to succeed, and things to turn out a little bit on the unexpected side. So we'll see. You do get some expected results, you get some not so expected results. But what we do is we use cards and we use dice. Like I said, so like the card, I can show you one of the cards right here. I will turn this around, and you can see right here. Here's a card that we use. You can see Celestino Garcia has a 3B rating for the. That's a tournament rating that helps determine in some of this drawing type stuff how it all plays out. Basically the likelihood of this guy being able to finish up near the top, it's going to be less as a 3B than, let's say, a 1A or a 1B or a 1C or a 2A, 2B, 2C, 3A. They're all going to have a better shot at him of not only making the cut but being higher up. in the tournament standings. And then you have all of these other attributes. You can see that Celestino is hold on, it's got to focus, a legend. He is a semi-king. The dot means semi. He's a semi-hero. Semi-soft with the irons. So those are basically just things that each of those has its own quality that it will denote. Mostly it's a not so scientific quantification, let's say. It's somewhat scientific, but not 100%. Quantification of statistical data. So it gives you a range rather than... They'll each give you ranges rather than some specific, you're going to get like in baseball, you're going to get a 287 average with something. Well, that's not really going to happen. It's going to be sort of a rough determination based on these things. And putting, he's semi-gold, which means he's he makes some one putts. His fair share of one putts. He's not the best at it, but anyway. But that's how we're doing this. And so if you've already seen that first video, which was making the cut, you're probably going to say, I already saw some of this. If you've seen tournament number 1 in this series, which is the Silverado Open, then you'll probably say, oh man, I really already knew all this stuff. But I'm trying to grow this thing a little bit by a little bit, and so I don't want to ignore people who have never seen these games. And I would actually, if you haven't seen the Silverado Open, you may want to go back and watch that first, because it will give you an idea of what's already happened. This is tournament number 2, and I'm going to try to make some playlists so that they're easily found. Okay, so where are we at? I'm going to show you let me unplug my tablet. I finally got this tablet working right to where it's a little bright here. As you can see, this is sort of the leaderboard at the moment here for the 2018 Hawaiian Challenge, tournament number 2 of 24. Palm & Orchid, I think it's golf club actually, not country club, but that's okay. 73 is the par, so we had, and later on I have to add this to my tournament view. I should put over here what the target is going to be 268, which is the same as the target was for the Silverado Open. But the difference is that what was the name of that? Napa Country Club, it was not a par 73. I think it was a par 72. So a 268 is actually going to be a lower par number than what it was, as far as under par than it would be at Silverado. There was Silverado Open, but anyway, you can see the virtual dates here, and the number of golfers that made the cut was actually 73. What I did is this is my tournament view here. It's my leaderboard, and it's arranged by players that made the cut. What I have done here is I have created an algorithm that if there's no score here, they're going to it's twofold. First off, it checks to see if I have written in the par. So if I don't want it to show anything in the place column, I need to leave the par blank. So this is Google Sheets. So it's a Google sheet on Google Drive. But so if the par is blank, this would show nothing. But what we do is so I haven't put any score. The only scores I have put in are for those who missed the cut. And because I don't know the scores, what I do is I put in zeros, and then I do a sort. So I've done sort here, and what it does is it'll automatically see this cell here, sees if there's a 0 in this column, and if it's a 0, it will say cut, which means he missed the cut. So all these players missed the cut all the way down to the 133 column, and there's 8 columns. So if you subtract, or 8 rows, that are not active. So that makes it 126. I think it's up through 9 actually. I think 9 is the header row for this. And no, but that's okay. You subtract by 9 to get the number. So anyway, we're 126, and so as you can see, 81, and then you subtract 8 makes it 73. So that's how many guys have made the cut. I believe that's, let me double check here. Yes. So, so 78 would be 70, and then there's 3 more. So, if you go kind of, if you pause this, what I can do is I can kind of go like this, and if you just keep pausing the YouTube video, you can see if your golfer is in the mix for the tournament. So, but just to show you here, I have some other tabs, and I will have to, what I'm going to have to do, because I just now figured out that I can use the tablet there to, I can definitely do that. I wasn't sure, but I figured out how to give myself access on that to be able to see with the browser, which is good. What that means is that I can show you my my schedule and stuff like that at another time. So the schedule and some of the other background spreadsheets that I have going on. So what do we need to do now? So we've made the cut. These are all, I use this for counting out. It turns out my counting was a little bit off. I thought it was 75. There must be 2 piles here that are 1 short, because it's really 73. So these 2 golfers, that's Carson Rodell and Delmo Mazzanti, they are the outstanding golfers. What we're going to need to do is make 8 piles. These 2 will make their own pile. Then the other 71 golfers will be in 7 other piles. And what I need to do is randomize these guys as best I can, and then make those piles, and then we will get a move on. And as the instructions for this game instruct, they prefer you, or recommend that you just divvy them up, like by splitting the piles and not being so concerned about exactness. And I'm going to stick with that, even though I've had a couple people say, oh, maybe you should deal them out. Part of the problem even with dealing them out is that you end up, the cards do stick together some, and then you do end up, it's really tough to get these exact, just because, like I said, they stick together. They're not always easiest to, let's just do this. I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of, but the way that Keith and the other testers and creators at Play Games, again, play.com, Plaay, that is the company that makes this. What they've done is they've made algorithms to try and create the most, try to pull out the number of golfers you need based on real life. So in any regard, let's do this. Is this zoomed out? Yeah, this is the farthest we've got it zoomed. I'm going to turn it a little bit more. I had pushed it back so I could show my face, and we'll do this. Okay, so we got these 2 guys. They're going to be the final pile over here. We don't need to worry about, I got to get rid of this stuff for a second. Give me a moment. I have a good bit of room here in my workstation, but I don't really have enough room. So we don't have to worry about the making the cut or the outstanding golfers. The outstanding golfers are right here. And the guys who missed the cut, we're going to put them off to the side. Too bad, so sad. I think I already said that last night. I've got a problem with repeating my catchphrases. Let's do a couple more shuffle up jobbers here. I mean, do the best we can. Someday maybe I'll be able to figure out a way to randomize these things without taking so much time. Okay, let's call it good. All right, so what we need to do is we need to make 7 roughly equal piles, except for number 8 will not be equal. So let's just go ahead and half. Actually, what we should do is probably make try to make 4 the best we can here. That's pretty good. And now let's try to make 3 more. I'm going to slide these guys down. So we'll try to make 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I need a little more room here. Like I said, I'm trying to keep things in the camera. And there's our last pile, and let's try and make sure these guys are... So they should roughly have 10 each, except for those. So we'll do the best we can here. Alright, I think that's... These guys here might have a couple too many. Let's put one more down there. That one feels a little light. I just pulled... let's go ahead and do that. Do that. Okay, so here we are. We're at the 7 piles. With really 8. The outstanding's the last one. And we will now go ahead and take a look at this. We're going to spread out the grade cards too. I got to get rid of my tablet and get out the grade cards. So that's what we got over here to the left. The star in this phase, let me see if I can move this all the way down to the lowest spot possible where you guys can still see where the cards are. Okay, so we've got A plus, A minus, B plus, down through, I believe, C minus is the last one. Is that right? No, there's a D plus. I forgot. And so what these do is it provides places where... Oh, there's a D minus. How about that? I forgot. It's been a couple weeks since I did this. So, all right. So just another refresher here. Once I get this sort of squared away to where things are cool. Okay, we got them all in. Woohoo! All right, and then we got these other ones that are the leaderboard for the final round. Just set those aside. I mean, one thing they could do if they wanted to save themselves a little bit of cash, although I think the trouble is that all of these cards end up on the same sheet, so it's tough to really save it. I was going to say you could print them on both sides, so you could put like the stroke, one stroke back on the back sides of these, but that's okay. So we have, and again, we're kind of crunched for space, so you're gonna have to bear with me. We put the contenders underneath and the finishers up top. So if a player is off the sheet is listed as finished, he is not going to be able to play in our final round. And most of the finishers end up in B minus and above. Or B minus and below, I mean, if you look here. So like here's a finish with B minus. There's a finish with B minus. There's all the way up to a finish with a D minus here. And so we have a couple of designations here. We have some that have you get the placement and a Tourney perks, which if you look at the back side of the sheet, there's something similar to History Maker, where you roll a single D6 and it takes you through sort of a questionnaire. I don't know if you want to call it that, but like a series of questions that will determine whether each of those golfers will be this or that or the other. Like add qualities or subtract qualities. So, okay, so what we need to do is we need to take each of these piles and... as you can see, some of these selections have the top golfer contends. Some of them have a draw golfer contends. Some of them you have all golfers contend. Some of them have. I don't think there's any that all finish down the bottom. But in any regard, we will play through this and see. So our first pile, we need to roll 2 D6s to figure it out. I don't think we'll need the D20 anymore, but we'll keep it there just in case. Let's roll it and see. Pile number 1 is a 14. So the top golfer will contend with A. So at the worst, he can be 1 shot behind the leader. And the rest are going to finish with C. So let's take a look. So we've got, I'm going to spread them out here. So there, Gareth Leonard is, what we're going to do is I'm going to pile up everything that doesn't come close. Here's Alec Newcomb, Killa, Hockle. Sometimes the best way to see whether these are more than one is to hold them up to the light and look through them. Craig Angelo. Let me just see if that's true. Yeah, because if you see on the front side Tord Torson, and then you look on the back side and you see Nick Yarla, you know that those two are not right. And there's Celestino. He's going to miss out. So the best golfer was Gareth Leonard, so he will contend A. And the rest are going to finish, so a 14, they will finish with C. So they will be right back here. And they will not, I don't think C is high enough up the leaderboard to be able to get into that charging up the leaderboard situation. Usually in the B's, you'll get that. So 56, a draw golfer contends with A-. Others finish with D. So this is where we will need the D6, or the D20, I mean. All right, so we figure there's about 10 here, so we got to see which one comes up. It'll be 12. So let's go ahead and 1. Cards stick together. This is going to be a shorter video, so we should be able to get through this by about 40 minutes. And I am planning to, I'm gonna have to move these other cards down farther, so I don't, because I'm gonna have the contending golfers, and then I'm gonna have, they're gonna start running in. I am going to have a question and answer session, so there's 6, 7, 8. Move these over some. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. You can't see that. So the top guy right here, they're not the top guy, but I mean, we go 11. The number 1 right up here is going to be the one that goes, and that'll be Jae Gun Woo. So he will be at A- contending, and everybody else. If Dustin Emmerich is in here, he will not be in the final pairings. So it'll be Van Dyke at 1C, Chico Fonseca, Dustin Emmerich. How about that? Wow. So I'm not going to go through all of them, but we're going to have. He was a guy that I was thinking would probably, let's see. So we had a 56. They finished with D, so these guys are all going to be way down here. All right, so pile number 3. So that's where you could get a guy who is a 1A finishing down the leaderboard, is if you end up with one of these piles. It's a draw. If it had been the top golfer, he would have been the top golfer. 16. Okay, A- for a draw golfer. And then the top golfer contends with an A. And then the rest finish with D+. Okay, so, and that, okay, I have to make some notes here. cut 73 golfers. So we had outstanding. I forgot to write this down. Let me just it's Rodell. And what was the other guy? It was Delmo Mazzanti. Okay, now we're going to do third round Tourney perks / issues. So this guy here is going to contend with A- and the draw golfer, and will also get a chance to get either a perk or an issue. 15, so let's fan them out here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it'll be number 5. John Reasoner. He will be at A-. And I got to write him down here. So it'll be Reasoner. He will get a Tourney perks or issue, and then we got to find out which guy is the top of the ones left. Palmiro Cavallero. Oh, there's Gil Granbury, a 1B. Now, if there's another 1B in this, then we would have to roll them off with the, and there it is, Yunli Song. So what we do is we check each guy with the decider die. If he gets a dot, he will go to the what was that? That was 16. He goes to A. If not, he'll contend at B+. So let's roll it off here. Granbury is going to be at A. And Lee Song is also going to be at A. So the rest of these guys, including Ziggy Juno, who was Espo's guy. Hold on, I want to check something here real quick. Yeah. So the rest of those guys are going to finish at D+. So we'll put them right down here. Okay. Pile number 4. 45. Okay, so we're going to have another issues and perks with a draw golfer. So 45, I'm going to put it right over here with that, and it will be you get a draw that contends at A-, top goes to A, the rest finish D+, and it's 13. So we'll do it again here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Only 9 for this one, so 10, 11, 12, 13. This one will be, what was it, A-, and have a perk. David Alvestad. So David Alvestad. Now the top golfer contends with an A. So let's take a look. Burke Yielding is a 2C. Aaron's 3B, 3B. 2B. So Trenchard is going to get in there. Cameraman. Aberley jumps to the top. Trenchard is not going to make the final, and neither will Sonny Lemons, a 2B, and a 2A. Okay, there you go. 2 2As we're going to have to roll those off for A and for B plus, and the rest go to D plus. So we'll put them in there. Okay, so let's go with Aberlay. He's going to be at B plus. Myung Cho, he will be at A. Okay, so 3 more of the regular piles, and then 1 of the outstanding. 56. Draw golfer contends with A minus. The others finish with D. So another draw golfer. Let's roll this D20. A 2. So the second guy, we don't really have to even fan him out much. 1, 2. Nishiki Kawahara is going to be at A minus, right? 56. Yes, A minus. And the rest will go to D with this group here. Okay. And this guy too. Okay. 46. Draw golfer contends with A minus. Low golfer finishes with D minus. Alright, so draw golfer 11. So we will have to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Shinji Kanishi is going to, let's see, 46, finish with A minus. Wait, no, not finish, contends with A minus. So we're going to have 5 golfers in this A minus pile. And actually what we can really do is move these piles right here up, because, and so we have a little more room, because there's really no chance that anybody's going to be finished at those higher marks. Anybody who goes up to the higher marks are going to be contenders. Now we got to take the low golfer, and they're going to be D minus. So Magalhanes, who is a 1C, is going to miss out on the action. 4B is currently the lowest, but 5A will beat a 4B. Casey Holder. He's going to finish with demerits there. Last guy probably. And let's see, others finish with D. Okay. So we have one more big pile. 26. So 26. The draw golfer contends with A minus. Others finish with B. So what? We're going to get more of a randomized... we do have a lot of 2s and a couple 1s. But we are going to have our share. So let's see. We haven't seen Toshio yet. He's the guy that kind of snuck in. Been wondering if there's any chance he will find a way to get into the final pairings. But let's see. So it was 26. Draw golfer contends with A minus. So there'll be 6 guys at that A minus level. There's 10, so I have a feeling this is going to be more than 10. It feels a little tall for me, too. And the rest are going to finish with a B minus. 3, 4. Eight, 9, and here's number 10. Patrick Kieran is going to be at A minus. Everybody else did. Was this where Toshio? I don't know. I haven't seen him, but he could be in one of the other piles. Well, these guys are all going to be at B-. Right. So right here. And we have this final pile of the 2 players, the outstanding guys. Hi, Bob. Ziggy Juno, he is not going to be in the final pairings. He actually finishes at D+, so unfortunately he wasn't so lucky. His rating, I think he's in this pile here. Let me see. I mean, his rating being a 5C is going to make it pretty tough for him to make most cuts, or he'll make cuts, but he probably won't get into too many final leaderboards, unfortunately. So let's roll off these last 2 out of the outstandings. 13. Draw golfer contends with. So basically, both of these guys are going to be. So we're gonna put these 2 golfers. I'm gonna shake them up here a little bit. Gonna do this. I don't know which one is which. I'm trying not to look because the light that I have up there could potentially allow me to see who's who. We're going to put them here. So, I mean, if it's an odd number, it's here. If it's an even number, it's here. That guy will be the leader. Right? So, if you look here at 13, draw golfer contends with A+, and he's going to get a tourney perk or issue. The top golfer, which will be the only guy who remains, contends with A-. So let's roll it out. It's a 4, so this will be the leader. It'll be Delmo Mazzanti, and he is a 5B, so he is a wild card kind of guy. And then this guy here will be at A-, and that will be Carson Rodell. So you're going to have a little bit of a log jam. Let's see, how many cards do we have? 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, Ziggy, that name, it is probably the most John Daly-ish sounding name that you could possibly come up with, I think. So what we have here, I believe, are 13 golfers. So we have 4, 5, and 7. So that's 12. We only really have room on the score sheet for 12. So we're going to have Rance Aberley is going to end up in the contending, but will, you know, he would be one of the guys, and I think it would come all the way back probably to, I don't know. That's interesting because there's chances for B+s here, but we didn't hit any of them. So the only B+ was Aberley. The other thing is that ties get you into the B+, but we didn't get any of those. So he would likely be the only guy, if you're going to have one coming from the back, who would maybe make a charge. But we're going to take these, and what are we at? 38 minutes. Well, what I need to do here at this point is just, I'm going to describe. Well, yeah, it's on this sheet. So this is where you take your target score, which I have all the shiny stuff. So our target score is a 268. And so what we're going to do now is roll off the decider die for whether these guys. So Delmo Mazzanti will either be starting the day at 201 or 202 based on the decider die, and then we go with the A's and the A-, and that's how we're going to build our leaderboard. So give me a second while I locate my a trusty score sheet, and I'm going to use, I think I'm going to use threesomes again if I can find my threesome sheet. Hi, Craig, by the way, and hi, I already said hi to Bob, but I figured I'd say hi again. And we'll set this up for the final round. So we'll be all ready to rock and roll for that. Oh, here they are. Here they come to save the day. And I got 2 with 1 pickup. Ziggy stayed up all night. His caddy found him passed out on the beach in his underwear like 5 miles from his hotel. Yeah, he could be so much more as a golfer, but he loves the nightlife. He likes to boogie on the disco round. Yeah. I don't know if anybody's going to get that reference, but if not, if they do, you are a champion for all champions. I got to see something here. Okay, and I messed up because Mazzanti, I got to write this down. He gets Tourney issues in Delmo. Delmo's kind of an interesting name too. I don't think I've ever heard that one. Yeah. RNGIDP says, do you know what they say about Ziggy? So, Alicia Bridges, Bob, either he's a disco, he might be Disco Stew if anybody gets that reference too. Hold on, I gotta get my I gotta bring up this so I can see all these comments that are coming in. I appreciate the comments. Oh, here we go, yeah. Alright, it's gonna take me a second to get it loaded up. Steve and Conrad says he has decided to do an alternate reality replay. And Bob is a disco duck. Well, I hope you're not a doctor, Bob. Then you'd be a quack. But all right, so it's going to be the 2018 Hawaiian Challenge, and as I said in the other video, that I'm gonna change the name for the one in 2019. It's gonna be the Hawaiian Tournament of Champions. This is gonna be at Kapalua. Oh, boy, it's not Kapalua. It's Palm and Orchid. How about that? Yeah, and here, yeah, I know. Once you start introducing the chicken and duck and all that kind of stuff, jokes, it just, goes downhill. And we don't have the conditions yet. I'll work that out later. But okay, so we've got to figure out here. I think what I'm going to do is make a semi leaderboard right here. So it's going to be, give me a second. So we've got A minus, or A plus is either going to be 201 or 202. 203, 204, and then 205, 206 will be for the A minuses, and then the B pluses, well, we'll worry about that when we get there. There's only one B plus. Okay, so Delmo, he's going to start the final round at a 202. And one moment as I do some math here. Where'd my calculator go? Here we go. 73 times 3, 219. So what is that, 202? $17 under par is what that ends up being to start the round. So I'm going to put minus 17 here. All right, so that's where Delmo goes, and I'll just move him up here. So Cho will be, it's either 203 or 204. He's going to be 203. One behind, minus 16. Yun Lee Song. And he's going to be at 204. Granberry, 203. Gill. Gareth Leonard, 204. Okay, so there are our A's. Just a second there, Bob. I want to look in. I saw a big comment here in. Okay. Since Ziggy missed the cut, he decided to accept Major League Baseball's invitation to throw out the first pitch at tonight's Game 7. Please see that he gets to the airport. Yeah, I don't know. It's quite a jaunt probably from the islands to Los Angeles, but you know it's still a little bit early in the day. Maybe he has time to get there. Okay, so the A- is now Rodell. He'll be at a 206. Kieran, 205. Konishi, 205. Kawahara, also. Then we've got 3 more. Alvestad. At 206. Reasoner. 205. And then Woo. Woo. He'll be up there at 205 as well. And then we have the B+ guy who we aren't really going to... we're going to leave him there. And he's not really going to get a score at this point. But what we need to do now is to transfer all of this stuff onto the score sheet. As you can see here, so you're going to have Mazzanti. His third round total was 202, and he's in first place. Then you're going to have tied for second. It's going to be Cho at 203, as well as... Actually, what I need to do is decided this is a better way to do it rather than leave the squiggly lines, which can be confusing. It'll be Granbury. And they are 1 back, so then 204. Tied for 4th. That's going to be Lee Song. And Leonard. And they're 2 back. Then we get to 205, which is going to be tied for 6th, and it's going to be a bunch of those guys. So it's going to be Kieran. Did Gumby. I'm not sure who Gumby is, but... Kanishi. Nishiki Kawahara. And then Reasoner. And Woo. And then, let's see, tied for 11th going into the final round at 206. 4 shots back will be Rodell and Alvestad. So, I mean, that's how the leaderboard is going to look going into the final round. Looks pretty messy. Okay, now I can put my book over to the side here. We're going to use threesomes. I know who Gumby is. I know. I just didn't know if you were referring to a golfer in particular or if you were trying to be funny. I think you're just trying to be funny, which is cool by me. So we've got how many golfers here? 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, I'm gonna roll a D6 here to decide which of these golfers. I put them in an order here. It's no real rhyme or reason. If it's a 6, we're gonna re-roll. It's a 1, so it'll be Kieran. Let me see. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So Kieran is going to be in the third group. And then let's see. So the next 2 here, or the next 3. So we have what's left. So Kieran's gone. So we've got Kanishi. Actually, let's do this. All right, so Kanishi, because we're down to 3, we'll just wrap it around. So 6 will be Wu. Now we're down to 2 left, and again, we'll just wrap it around. Number 3, so it'll be the first guy. It'll be Kawahara. And that leaves Reasoner, who's going to be the first to tee off in the early group, along with, let's see, we'll say Alvestad goes last. Okay, and then what do we got here? So we've got Kieran, and say whichever one comes up rolling, it'll be the first guy, Lee Song. It's going to mean Leonard tees off first, and then it'll be, let's see, Cho and Granbury. It'll be a 6, so we'll say Granbury gets to, oh wait, no, it's Mazzanti. Yeah, Mazzanti tees off first. Granbury will be last, and it means Cho. All right, so there we go. And then the other thing I'll need to do is take the course cards. I'm going to try and fill in all the pars ahead of time. I don't need to do that. So that's where I'm going to leave this for now and talk a little bit about the game. I saw Craig had a question about the prep work. I mean, the trouble is, this is prep work, but it's prep work because you are taking 4 rounds of golf with somewhere between 120, and this one it's 126. Some tournaments have 156 golfers, and playing 36 holes with 156 golfers, it's going to take you months. So unless you're got a lot of time on your hands, and I don't. So at play.com, that's where you could buy this game. This is, as I've said before, History Maker Golf. He has a tournament mode which uses some ratings and some other algorithms, dice rolls to be able to flush out which golfers end up in those final pairings, and save you a lot of time if you're trying to play out sort of a tour season, which is what I'm doing. Some people would rather do like a match play event where you're doing 2 guys head to head. Roll it out, match play, have a 32 golfer bracket, and perfectly fine. I'm a fan of the tour, so that's why I'm doing this here. Again, it's a time saver. It may not be everybody's cup of tea. There are some other games. There's Atba Golf. Espo Strat has been previewing Dice Nuts version of a golf game, and it's got some real nice detail on the courses. But I don't know what their tournament mode is like. It sounded like there might have been one, but anyway. So I'm going to wrap it up here. So we have our final pairings, not pairings, groups. They're threesomes. And we're going to play that out, probably start Friday night, and it'll end up going through Saturday, I would imagine, somewhat. Take probably 2-3 hours, so it'll be split between 3 videos. But yeah, it's different, Craig. It's different. You have to have sort of an open mind as to why you have to do all these things. I think once you start wrapping your head around trying to play all of the golf that you need to play to, get 72 holes in for... actually, Craig, while you're still on here, I want to mention something which is kind of cool. But anyway, we'll do, and I'll do a little more question and answer before the final round starts, and that'll be Friday. One thing to note, mentioning golf, this is a little different because it's frisbee golf. The hipsters call it disc golf. If you call it frisbee golf to certain people, they'll probably smack you with a glove or something. But anyway, was out at lunchtime. I took a little chance because we have a course not too far from my work, and played 9. Well, there's this little par 3 that goes down the hill. It's a pretty rugged area, but Craig is out in the Rockies, and yeah, Frolf. He's out in the Rockies where this makes the terrain that I'm used to playing on here probably look like, flat desert. But anyway, downhill, quite a few trees, but it's got, it's 150 feet maybe. Yeah, it's got to be more than that, maybe 200 feet. Down the hill, there's two lanes. You got one to the left, one to the right, and the basket is up on this rock formation that's probably, I'd say 8 feet in the air, maybe 9 feet in the air. So I get up there to the tee and I throw my putter, and I try to crank it, and it just goes off to the right. And when I say putter in disc golf, the putter, you can probably, if you throw that straight, you should be able to get about 200 feet on it. Even though you would tend to use putters more as 30 feet, just trying to knock it in the chains. But anyway, so I was like, okay, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna have to go get that disc. It's off in the brush. I'm like, oh, let me throw another one. So I grab a mid-range. I forget the actual disc itself. It's a it's Innova, one of the Innova discs, I'm pretty sure. So I let it go, and it goes up the right chute, and there's some overhanging trees about maybe 120 down or something, and it's getting underneath those. I'm like, ooh, this looks like it could get pretty, at least get down to the bottom of this rock face or whatever, this rock formation. And it just keeps going, and it starts to make its turn to, fading off to the left. Yeah, it could be a shark. I'd have to look. And it starts to clip those branches on I'm like, oh no, but it only just barely hits them, and it keeps coming to the left, and ching, drops right to the basket. First ace run I've ever had. I haven't been playing frisbee golf for a while. It's been about a year, and it's been on and off, more off than on. But and some would say I sound like a moron probably for playing it. But anyway, yeah, that was the thing is, it's not a true ace because I yanked one off into the jingweed, but it was still quite an amazing feeling because it felt so good coming out of the hand. It was so flat. There wasn't any of that, you get this torsion when you throw it, and you don't have the right angle on your wrist and everything. It starts wobbling, and you lose distance, and it's just gliding out there so nice. And yeah, anyway, so that's my disc golf story for the millennium. Everybody's like, off-axis torque. Yeah, that's what that'll make you have a bad day on the course. My biggest problem is not knowing the direction. I can throw it pretty decent, but once I get into trying to have to throw around trees, they can be pretty punishing. But anyway, I'm going to sign off. It's getting right up towards the hour mark. Thanks for watching. Check out the videos coming up here on Friday. See ya. God bless, and enjoy your tabletop games.